Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the Valanth League Season 13, first split of the year, Division 3. As you can see, we are straight into bans and picks. I am one of your casters, Madwood, and alongside me we have Rat to fill in my knowledge gaps. How's it going, Rat?
It's going good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm hyped. This is the first one for Valanth League I'm doing. This is first week, so it'll be interesting to see. At the moment, you can see we have here lethal target inferiority against Phoenix Flare. Both two pretty strong teams. They certainly lethal target inferiority have been around. They had a pretty good split last year, if I recall. So yeah, I think it'll be quite an even contest. We see the bands coming out here. We'll just get straight into that. That's the Nami, Silas, and Sion on the left-hand side, and the Timo and the Yorick, and then a Skarner as well. Probably more kind of targeted bans, I think, than the meta really in terms of Skarner. But yeah, who do you think kind of is strong in the meta at the moment? Who do you think these teams are going to go for?
Well, one thing you gotta do with these amateur leagues, right, is you gotta decide whether you're banning out the players or you're banning out meta-specific champions. So as we see the Ornn picked. But for the side of Phoenix Flare, I think that these bans are just sort of because you can't ban none in tournament drafts. So since they did lose their first three bans for late roster submission, I think that's what we're seeing here as we see the Akali picked out.
Yeah, Akali taken straight away as well, and the Maokai as well, of course, has been very prevalent across all levels of League of Legends at the moment, as well as Vi. Me myself, I'm a jungler, so she has been a very common pick for myself, and getting that lovely free low for me down in gold, but winning nonetheless. And we've got a Kassadin and then the Vex in the mid lane. How do you fare that kind of matchup?
Well, I didn't like the Ornn pick with Maokai being open with stuff like Zeri, and you could have picked Lucian Nami, but I think the casting already seeing probably their mid lane pick. Actually, no, Vex is their mid lane pick, so I don't think Castle will fare too much. I mean, he will have to hit 16 first, and we'll see if that happens with the current draft, but I prefer red side much more to blue side's draft at the moment.
Yeah, you like the you're a big fan of the Vex and Akali, are you?
Yeah, well, with Maokai, you already have strong engage, right?
Yeah.
And you have zone. Akali just is so good at cleaning up the backline, and Vex with just engage. It just
Mm.
seems already unwinnable
Yeah.
as we see the Zeri picked out.
Yeah, Zeri obviously very regular at the moment. She had her incredible streak during Worlds. I don't know how much you watched of that, and that was all the hype. And seems like she's making a bit of a comeback. But the Samira to match in the bot lane there, and in a Mumu support, it looks like there. So very engage heavy team. But I think that late game cast in Samira is going to be pretty tasty if they get there as well.
Now this is the ASOL patch. ASOL is disabled for the
Yeah,
next 2 weeks.
yeah.
And with
So
Constante being banned out and Casson being banned out, it really does make you question if there were better picks.
yeah, I mean the new Aurelion Soul looks pretty good as well. But yeah, so what they'll do with this patch is any new champion or champion update in this case, they will ban for the first 2 weeks until the next patch. So yeah, that one's not able to be used. But then the Lulu, the last pick for the side of Phoenix Flare, is gonna really support that Zeri very well and keep her out of harm's way. So we do have the full layouts now for both teams on each side, and so you're still thinking Phoenix Flare got the upper hand in that overall draft then?
Yeah, of course. I think Zeri has a much earlier power spike, being a late game champ, but I think that power spike comes in way earlier than Kassadin and Ornn items come in. So it'll be interesting to see how far the game goes.
Yeah,
Obviously, both teams aren't uh that heavy in early game, besides the Samir and the Mumu, of course. But we'll see if there are any plays made with the Mumu.
yeah, I think I'd have to agree with you. Really, there's some good engage from the Vine Mumu, but the Vex is obviously very good at disengaging. Maokai obviously can engage himself and disengage, Uh, yeah, and Akali, I think she's not going to have too many issues getting onto her targets. Getting onto the Samira, for instance, if that's her target. I mean, apart from the Samira and Kassadin, you've got three very tanky champions. So if you're the Akali, then certainly you're going to be focusing onto just two enemies on lethal target, and should not have too much problem. Akali obviously she struggles with CC against her, and something like an Ash stun or maybe a Varus ult as well. But casting Samira is not really going to provide that threat. So yeah, I think certainly the Akali being in the top lane as well, she could have a bit of a free roam here, not have too much trouble, I think. So I mean, if I don't think Tank Akali is still a thing. I'm assuming just going to go the usual build, usual AP build. But I mean, like I said, on the opposite side, Phoenix Flare actually only have one proper tank as well. Lulu's kind of has her shields and Wild Growth ultimates, but once Maokai is down, could be quite exposed. Maybe Phoenix Flare.
Yeah, it's true actually. But with one thing that I want to point out is in pro play and actual like draft strategy, we always see Zeri being picked up first on 1-2 on red or blue. And then we see the Vi as a counter because she does have that point and click lockdown. So you see that follows you no matter what. So it's a bit interesting that we saw Zeri picked out later than the Vi.
Yeah. Will struggle certainly. With that cease and desist. But the Lulu, I think, was a good support into that. I think rather than an engaged support with the Zeri, just to keep her alive. Yumi has been a usual pick as well alongside the Zeri. So whereas in contrast, the very short range engage heavy Samira and a Mumu could really cause problems. But again, I think the issue there is if they engage and pull the trigger too soon, that they can't really get out as well once they're in. They've got to fight their way out, so to speak. But yeah, we're almost through spectator delay before we get onto the riff for this first best one. We have got another one straight after this as well. It will be lethality, lethal target, inferiority again, and they'll be facing off. I do have the schedule here. Sorry, I haven't memorized the entire thing myself, but I have got it in front of me. They're going to get Limelight Ingratus. I was trying to pronounce it right, but so we have got a second best of one after this as well. So this game should be good, and stick around for the next one after this, as we're just going to sort out while we load onto the rift. Very, very soon. Apologies for the technicality here. Bear with me 1 second. Spectator not enjoying itself at the moment, but oh, there we go. No, I think I have it in. Yes, there we go. We are back on track, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, this fine professional level streaming, but we'll get there eventually. So we are just about to see these two teams come out and decide who will win this best of one. Looking pretty aggressive with the ping so far, but how do you see the kind of the game in terms of over the course of it, and where you think the jungler is going to go? Do you think there's going to be some early action, or you think it's going to be a bit more passive to begin with? We have got a cast in, of course.
I obviously you see the Ornn being first pick. It's obviously going to be a weak side Ornn. So I think there shouldn't be any action topside unless it's to just contest Herald from blue side. But from red side, I think that Maokai should spend a lot of his time bottom, and it'll all just come down to if he can counter gank the Vi, if he can stop the Vi from hindering the Zeris and Vex's early game.
Yeah, Vex is an interesting one. Like I said, I'm not a true mid laner myself, but I have certainly come across Vex in my ganks as the jungler, and I think she's always been in a very strong place throughout the patches since she's been released. Just in the last year, I think she's been around, hasn't she? Just over. So that fear really does stack up towards the end of the game, and the resets on that ultimate as well can be devastating as well. So yeah, I think you're right. Before the casting hits level 6, could be interesting too, but doesn't seem too much going on there. Both junglers starting in the top side, so it does look like maybe the bot lanes are going to be their focus probably for the first ganks.
Obviously, this game is all going to come down to the Zeri, the Maokai, the Akali, and more or less so the Kassadin, because I think it's just more volatile. But one thing I want to point out is Kassadin did take second wind and tier instead of D-Shield, bone plating tier instead of D-Shield second wind, which I think that's really going to come into play after he backs. And Vex does that get last chapter.
Yeah, interesting. Not gone for the Dark Seal, either of those players there. To really try and stack their AP, for instance. But we've got a bit of action here at the moment. Akali's going in, getting that good poke off onto the Ornn. Of course, squishy for now. Maokai can be seen there on your screen, lurking in the bushes there. See if he can get that first blood. He's not been seen as well. Thomas doesn't know about it. He's gone in for the root as well. The Ignite's popped out. The Flash has been burned. Akali gets the first blood. And that is first blood to the top laner on the Akali. Very crucial, as you were saying, Rats. Get that Akali head.
Yeah, not what you want to see from the Ornn, honestly. You want to sit back, get as much health as possible, not trade at all if you can. But in this matchup, I just don't think he knows his limits, and that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, probably not a very regular matchup that he's faced before. So, yeah, unfortunately, just got to accept this wave under turret and try not to lose as much as he can, really. But across the rest of the lanes, yeah, not too much action. Kassadin just slightly ahead there on the CS, but I think maybe should be more action here. Fear coming out, but I think maybe the Vex could probably be more aggressive if Topavity wanted to, you'd say.
Yeah, and Maokai did start with the red jungle monster, not the green one, the most popular one. So he's probably going for that once he does hit 50 camps. He's probably going to try and get as many ganks as possible before Kassadin hits 11 or gets his power spike with Sarah's Rod.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, he has gone the red jungle pet as well, whereas F for Effort has gone for the Moss Stomper. That's the one I remember at least. Still trying to get used to them all, but yeah, gone for the tanky one. Of course, the green one applying that tenacity when it's fully stacked, and the red one applying a slower one damage as well. So, I mean, you'd think maybe Maokai probably didn't need any extra CC, but clearly that's the route he's gone for. Some great damage coming out onto the Kassadin there as well. Could get low very, very soon. Topavity level 5, not quite hitting the ultimate status just yet, but of course you can see, yeah, Blackleather is being sensible there and going to recall with that TP coming back in as well.
LTI should look to freeze this if they're allowed to. This is just a really huge wave coming in. And we can already see the no D-Shield Kassadin. Like, he's already almost under half HP. So I think,
wow,
yeah, you don't want to give Vex this much. You don't want to give the Vex this much laning power.
Yeah, really got no problem at all. It is matching on CS at least, so in terms of gold, they're certainly matched. And that difference of the Doran's Ring to the tier, the Vex will have more ability power at the moment, but of course Kassadin will stack up. So Chemtech Drake is the first one on this game as well. So that knocks that one out of the Soul picture, at least, anyway.
This one should go to LTI. I mean, stronger jungle, stronger bot lane. Just, I mean, if Phoenix can contest it, doesn't look like it.
Yeah. Yeah, although you do have Maokai up in top side at the moment, Effort is warded it with a control ward, sees that there is no other wards from the enemy there, so might think about it, but otherwise top lane is the focus at the moment, it looks like, for the Maokai. Kassadin coming in with the Rift Walk, just let him know he's there, but no full engage just yet. And does look like you can see there the Drake is being started by LTI.
Yeah, as soon as they see the Maokai being spotted out on top, as he should be, they just pull the trigger on the Drake.
Yeah.
Really a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's League 101, even for my gold ELO, I'd know to do that as well. So good to know that even at diamond level, we're all doing the same things. Really, nothing too complicated. What's your highest ELO, Rat? What have you been able to achieve? You've been at Diamond Glory?
Nah, I mean honestly, I could never get past Gold 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think League is in the most unplayable state it's ever been. I mean, with this meta, I mean, if we're seeing Zeri in pro play, Maokai even, and then we see Maokai being picked in some of the lowest elos on League instead of the fun champions, I'd say, you know it's a problem.
Yeah, going for the more more simpler champions, as it were, I suppose. You know, you don't see the Rivens anymore, or even the Veins as well. Yeah, that used to be. I mean, you did used to have the Mundo Shyvana in like season 3 or something like that, season 3, season 4, which weren't the most exciting, but there you go. So Maokai looking here for maybe some more support, trying to just maybe anti-gank. So far, 8 minutes in, just the 1 kill in this game. Very, very slow compared to other games. And top lane looks most likely for the next kill, probably, you'd say.
And once Owen does get that Spectre's Cowl, he's probably going to Spectre's Cowl since every time Akali will hit him, he'll just regen a portion of his HP back.
Yeah, but
so once he does get that, it shouldn't seem like Owen will ever die with this AP top jungle.
Yeah, he's managed to build up some resistances now at least, and of course with the Ornn passive can stay in lane a lot longer than the Akali, so might be able to catch up on that, but just a bit of skirmishing in this mid lane, nothing too much. You can see the Rift Herald now, actually, notoriously in my casting days as well, it's always the Rift Herald is never picked up on directed camera for some reason. Does not respect Shelly as much as the Drake, sadly. So I have spotted it there. So first Drake and Rift Herald both going over to LTI, actually. Phoenix kind of just letting that one slip by.
I mean, honestly, it'll all depend on where he will be able to use it. But, you know, this Herald is just sort of a buffer to stop Zeri and Lulu from hitting their, IE power spike.
Yeah, you can see the CS difference just slightly increasing there between the two ADCs. Not huge, just about 10 CS at the moment, but, can make a difference. And, of course, there's still play to Tocap's first item taken by the Samira, just to really probably prevent that poke, I suppose, from the Zeri. Because, apart from the Zeri, every other champion on the side of Phoenix are magic damage. So, literally just building towards that one champion, which is an interesting one, but there you go.
I mean, it's a poor choice of first back, really. You want as much AD possible in lane so you can establish your presence and dominance, since you do have the Amumu. And you can just always sit back behind the Amumu or the minions to stop Zeri getting auto attacks.
Yeah, looks like we're getting our next piece of action in this game. Maokai does activate the ultimate as well. It's not going to get too many people. Going to have to flash out of that as well. The cease and desist did get activated onto the Zeri, who's going to flash away as well. And it's actually the Samira who gets the first kill and only kill of that fight in the end. Flashes burned left, right, and centre. I don't think there was one left at all. Yes, only one on the jungler in the Vi, but crucially, like you're saying now, that's the first kill for the Samira, and the Zeri still to get hers.
I mean, really well played from Her Majesty with the flash curse of the sad mummy. It just stops Maokai, Zeri, Lulu from disengaging completely.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pathing as well from Deadly Cigar wasn't the best. Had to kind of just like save himself, really, didn't he? But we've got perfect execution here coming from Zephon. The Ignite ticking, ticking, ticking. Is it going to go down? Yes! Second kill for the Akali in the top lane, and some respite at least after that bot lane loss. And looks like this Akali is going to be the one maybe to make the difference this game for Phoenix.
I mean, she is choosing to go that Riftmaker build instead of the pure AP Proto build Lich Bane. I mean, it's a really good choice of Mythic. Ornn, Vi, Cassian, Samir, even all 5 members of LTI want to build HP. So
yeah, definitely the logical choice here. Rift Herald is put down in the mid lane as well. Probably just to distract. You can see the Cloud Drake is up as well, so Phoenix will have to deal with that if they do start the Drake, but they're hanging around thinking about it. But instead, just a kind of a bit of a wasted Rift Herald there to take one plate down. And back to square one. Phoenix, they know what's happening here. Taking down the wards. And the two mid laners just carry on farming there. And now, wards cleared. Whether Drake has started, probably not. Curse of the Sad Mummy isn't even up yet, so LTI probably just going to wait at least till that's back up. But this Vex and Caston both getting very strong, just hit the 100 CS mark, so next level, hitting level 11 will be obviously 2 marks in that ultimate slot. Maybe thought the Caston might roam a bit more, possibly, just to try and get on the board maybe, but they're going in for a fight here, a bit more of a longer skirmish. Nothing comes of it in the end. Oh yeah, the Akali is doing that damage. Has completed, like you said, the Rift Maker, I should say. Too many similar abilities. But going in, cease and desist onto the Maokai. Caston might get his first kill of the game here as well. The ultimate has come out to save him for now. Lulu is by herself while Growth will try and save her. But Amumu, of course, does have 2 bandage tosses now to his name. Is he going to get one more? He's trying to go. Just 5 HP, must be very low. Gets one on the minion. And now, unfortunately, not going to win. But Caston is flashing over. He has got no problem of gap closing there. LTI is by himself. Zeri gets her first kill of the game as well. Vex takes out her opposing mid laner, though. And in the end, after that back and forth, it is Phoenix who come out on top and could get their first Drake of the game.
It was really well played from red side, but even poorly played from LTI, I'd say. You don't want to be taking these fights with a, you know, your mid laner isn't as strong as he can be.
Yeah.
He goes as he does, try and go for the steal and doesn't quite get it.
Yeah.
You don't want to be taking any fights where both mids can get involved. You either want to be taking isolated fights with jungle bot, or you want to be trying to do something with the jungle alone. But you never want to be taking any fight where Vex can get involved.
Oh, it's really sad in the top lane now because Ornn is just going to have to face the music and face the Akali constantly and just give over those kills. Might as well have put it in a box for her because Zephon now 3 kills and 2 assists to his name as well, crucially. From that bot lane fight. So looking so strong. I mean, what do you do now if you're the Ornn, you know? Because you can't 1v1 this Akali anymore. You can just kind of sit on the turret maybe. You know, more support from your jungler possibly.
I mean, you're playing weak side. Not much you can do. You just have to just... I mean, we see him greeting for a lot of the CS when he knows Akali has a lot of skirmishing power.
Yeah.
Even with no items, but... You know, and looking at the choice of items, he does have cookies, he does have refillable, but he didn't opt out for the Spectre's Cow. Interesting choice as you're against almost 3 and a quarters of AP champions, as we see him building items by the river.
Yeah, but he has got support this time, whether the Akali knows. I think she knows something's on. The Ornn has been activated. This confidence is a lot. Amumu is here. Bandage Toss does not connect. And that was probably the crucial ability to hit, to be able to take down this Akali for the first time. And now Rift Herald is up at least, so that is the consolation, but I'm sure they would have liked a juicy Akali as well to top that, but Samira on her own in the bot lane should be fine for now.
I mean, just I don't know what this one is doing, but his combos, his the way he's playing, just all over the place. Really good read from Akali. It was really obvious that Diorn is walking up and trying to fight her for no reason at all.
Yeah, very nice block. Good damage as well. The ults come in as well. The reset. Topavity didn't even need that. Just for good measure, takes down the slowly Samira, and now again this could be deja vu. Unfortunately, Thomas E, your teammates have left you. You are down again. You are being served on a dinner plate. Can Akali survive the turret shots? No, this time at least. Thomas E can walk away.
Maybe the Jack shows by was actually, a really good buy. We see the extra Amara and extra stacking Amara and the the HP drain.
Yeah,
really can't touch that, but. Would he have survived those, extra extra 2 deaths, should I say, with Spectre's Cowl? Maybe, but, you never know.
Yeah, I know, we could only imagine, but I'm sure if we had our mathematician on hand, maybe we could have crunched some numbers. But yeah, I think, a tanky item full stop. I think it was probably the Merc Treads that probably came in handy there. I don't think he had them last time. So, I mean, just that kind of little extra magic resist probably just saved him there. As Phoenix, they may have lost that inner turret, but they are going to at least take the first turret for the enemy there. So, turret for turret, whether it's an outer and a inner at least. But 1 Drake each, 7 kills to 2, and only about 2,500 gold in it. But if we look at the gold across the board, I don't know if you can see there, but if you're checking out the stream as well, but actually pretty even, apart from the top lane, really. Obviously, it's about 1,500 gold difference in that top lane. And about 1,000, to be fair, now Vex to get that second kill in the mid lane. And that's where it all is, really, because about 500 gold between the two ADCs. Junglers, pretty similar. So, I mean, surely if you're LCI, your kind of 1 goal at least is quite easy to see that take down Akali, and you should be back in the game, probably.
I mean, take down this Akali and stop her from completely just dismantling you in team fights. I mean, obviously LTI did go for the sort of more engaged concept compared to a front to back one.
Yeah.
So we should see, a range of ultimates coming out as we see Catelyn engage on the Vex here.
Yeah. Of course, Topavity does have that fear though. So, indeed, did not fear the Kassadin. So, was all fine there. Nothing really going to come of that. But next Drake is up in about 30 seconds, and it is, of course, a Cloud Soul for this game. Not the most useful one, but maybe something like a Kassadin can certainly benefit quite a lot on that with each Rift Walk.
I mean, both teams should ideally contest this, as we see Ornn overextended in the alcove.
Yeah, unfortunately, you are way out of your depth, my friend. You are a level behind your laner, and it is the Ornn dance, I think. Activating the Ornn Horn, but to no avail. And that's the 4th kill for the Akali. Looking pretty scary. Got the TP as well. Going to come down for the dragon. And this could be a huge decisive fight here as the Drake has started.
Yeah, I mean...
No contest, really,
yeah. They should look to give this. I mean, Cloud Dragon and Second Dragon, not that important, but if you do get stack them, then it's really beneficial for both teams, depending on who gets to stack more. And obviously the Cloud Soul being really important. So Zeri can get that extra movement speed, Maokai can get that extra movement speed, Akali with the perfect execution. Both teams want to solve.
Yeah, I mean, it's better you having it than the enemy team having it, right? So always useful, certainly if you can take it. And yeah, you can see Phoenix definitely have the map control. The ward's very deep, you can see, in the bottom side of the map. Although there are a couple from LTI, they've got their own vision there. So, kind of holding the fort for now. And just see, I think, if there's anyone who's going to take down the Akali and the Vex, it's going to be this Kassadin, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just perfect playbook macro from LTI. They put their Kassadin bottom, they know that there shouldn't be any ball lane action for quite a while until the next dragon comes up for about 4 minutes. I mean, should you have the Vex here? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Kassadin can take the Vex, but again, the Vex can disengage very easily. So I think there's no threat of a kill there. As long as Topavity doesn't overextend, then fine. But yeah, as you can see, not stepping too far, not stepping past the river. And just going to recall and come back again and just kind of keep this Kassadin as subdued as possible. Of course, the Baron is now up as well, which does add an extra layer to this game. Next fight could mean a free Baron, free the team, you know, if this Akali does mess up. But of course you can see she's getting very, very tanky now. Just wondering what she's building into there next. What would you say that builds into? I can't remember my item ingredients off the top of my head for AP items. But I think it's... I mean, possibly a Rylai's from that, is it? No. I'd have to double check. I'm more of a jungle and top laner build kind of knowledge. But, you know, a lot of champions across the board here getting very, very tanky indeed. Vi, not massively tanky, just got a few resistances. And Amumu and Ornn, at least, you know, when you are 0 and 4 and you're still tanky, you can still be a nuisance at least. There's not too much going on here. Both teams kind of close, looking at that Baron now. And yet they are going to start it. Phoenix as well. Kassadin is in the bot lane. He has got his teleport ready though. The water has been put down. Will there be a steal this time? LTI coming in. I think we might have lost Rap for now, so it's just going to be me coming in. But we have got the engage. Akali is on the backline. Season Desist has been popped. Activates because the Sad Mummy on her as well. Can they take her down? No, she's just too tanky. Too far ahead. And perfect execution is indeed done that just that way. The Kassadin gets his kill though as well though. Zeri takes down the Kassadin in return. The Vex gets her kill as well. The resets are coming out. And Thomas E, he's 0-4, but he is the last man standing for LTI as the rest of his team are taken down compared to just the 2 members of Phoenix. Well, looks like that was a bait in the end, I think. Although Jungler 4, Phoenix did go down. LTI did try and throw everything, literally everything. The Amumu ultimate, the cease and desist on that Akali, but just too tanky. Just not enough damage probably as well, really, as she's looking for more as well. She's confident she can win that fight because it is an Ornn with no damage. And she can simply sit there happy days with almost 200 CS. And get, I'm sure she's got a lot of gold in her pocket, about 2,000, yeah. And will be able to complete her next item. Yeah, so I may have lost my fellow caster for now. Internet issues are still very prevalent in 2023, of course. But I will be able to try my best on this solo cast. Kassadin is caught as well. He is going to rift walk out of that. The ultimate comes out from Maokai, but I don't think that's going to be that useful in the end. I don't think you're going to catch a Kassadin, buddy. But it was a nice try as he does get himself over into the wall. The Cloud Drake is up. This is the third one. Could be for Phoenix and Soul Point. Control ward is in there to disable that ward at the moment. So LTI can't see it. They're going to have to come round. All ultimates are available. No flash for the Zeri or the Vex. See if they can do this now. Vi comes in. Is she going to be able to steal it? No! The Vex is the one that takes the dragon out, and now the fight begins. The Zeri has the wild growth on her. She is going to stay alive very easily. The Lulu was very low, but the Zeri takes down the Samira, and the Akali has gone down to the Amumu. Does this change the fight? But no, if you take down the Akali, you are just left with the Fed ADC instead, and indeed, Le Seraphim will take over this game now and says, thank you very much, I'll take the keys from here, and drives the car to the base of LTI, as all members are completely wiped off the face of the map this time. Well, it's starting to. If it wasn't a snowball before, it is now, and it certainly could even be an avalanche because Phoenix really are going hammer and tongs here, playing so well and coordinating so brilliantly. All three carries, only one death between them. And when you've got 13 assists on your jungler, you know you're doing something right. 13 out of 17 kills. Done very well so far. Unfortunately, just not quite clicked for LTI. Just from maybe my perspective, just maybe not enough damage potential. I mean, you've got the Kassadin who can stack up and try and carry, but I think it's just, has to kind of farm a bit more and take a bit longer because you can't really be involved with the Kassadin that early. He hasn't even hit the level 16 mark. He's just stacking his Rod of Ages now. And the Samira, of course, hasn't really had much action, but Akali is going to fancy herself against the Kassadin. He does still do a lot of damage. And now, of course, it's not just the casting team that are having internet issues. We have a DC from one of the mid laners, and that is the Vex top Havity, who will be joining back. But we're about 26 minutes into this game. No Barons taken, which probably going to be the final nail in the box. Coffin, I should say. Box, coffin, whatever you want to say. And Phoenix, really, it's their game to lose at the moment. We'll see how long this takes, but I can have a flick to the gold now. I mean, when Rat and I were looking at the gold earlier, we were saying maybe 1k gold apart at most. But now you can see, if you look at the Akali in the top lane, almost a 3,000 gold lead just in those two champions. Not even the team difference. Team gold is only 6,500, so half of that is all in the Akali at the moment. And certainly leading the line, of course, the Zeri has almost 3,000 too. So, I mean, well, there you go. That is pretty much the gold difference in those two champions. And Akali and Azeri is not where you want the enemy to be having all that gold. And unfortunately, I think that has been the story of this game. That the Amumi Samira, I just don't think it's quite been as aggressive and engaging as it maybe should have been early on, because now the Lulu has built items. The Zeri's got that Infinity Edge and Shield Bow and the Phantom Dancer as well. 3 items compared to the 2 for the Samira. So, yeah, really big difference there. And LTI certainly will have it all to do in the second game that we will be streaming on here as well. So, depending on how long this game has left, maybe not the most, at most 10 minutes if we're lucky to get that, I think. But I like to be optimistic and try and see how these games. I mean, if anyone does watch the pro scene, check out the game. It was Astralis against, I think it was SK Gaming, or XL, one of those LEC teams. But yeah, there was quite a comeback in that game there. So I like to stay positive. I think in League of Legends with these shutdown gold and bounties, that there's certainly more room to come back in these games than there used to be. So, get a shutdown on that Vex or the Zeri. If they're caught napping, then it's all to play for. Of course, this casting is level 15, still waiting for this connection issue. And we will just see how long that will take, but maybe could be another minute or so. Good old internet issues, but if anyone has got some chats, looks like we might be coming back in. There we are. Oh, just what the doctor ordered. Ask and you shall receive, as they say sometimes. We're just ready to come back in, hopefully very soon. And we are back, which is always good to see. Yeah. Maybe, hopefully, that that pause has let the Kassadin scale. Who knows? But thank you for the patience there, at least. We are back underway with some more wonderful spectator delays, but good old Riot. As you can see, most of the action kind of focusing towards the top half, where that Baron is at the moment. The Ornn facing off against the Vex. 0-5 this game. Has not done that well, sadly, but can certainly provide that beefy front line at least still. While the Kassadin Akali are in that bot side of the map, maybe something can happen here for LTI. There is some good vision over that Baron. The control ward is in the pit there, which Phoenix haven't dealt with just yet. But everyone kind of waiting for that next moment, I think, just building up. I mean, if you're Phoenix, you're certainly happy to let this game carry on for a bit longer. Kassadin is, of course, level 16 now. Crucially, fully maxed out on that ultimate ability. It's going to be blinking around like there's no tomorrow. And this could be the moment. Looks like both teams eyeing up this Baron now. Both trying to get some good vision. Maybe get a pick. Ornn is in the bot lane. Does have teleport, of course. Can join the fight very soon. But he is going to be... You can see there the Akali is coming down. And he is about to have some top lane deja vu, unfortunately, if he does carry on there. But just no real engage from LTI. I think they can sense how far they really are behind here. The saplings just causing so many problems in those bushes. Of course, with that demonic embrace, is going to be doing a fair bit of damage against the tanks. The Vi goes in on cease and desist onto the Zeri, but the wild growth is going to keep her alive for now. Are they going to get the takedown? Yes, the shutdown goes to Kassadin, crucially. He gets a second kill as well. Now the Maokai is here as well, but he's not going to really do anything. It's a triple kill for Black Lilith. Leo, is this the comeback? Akali is still there. She is doing very well. She's trying to survive. She jumps out. Kassadin is looking for his next kill. Zephon gets the kill onto the Vi somehow. I think it was just that extra Vex damage that finally, with the ticking over, and that Ignite I think was ticking. And it's 3 kills for the Kassadin. Just like we were saying, the only one to get back into this game would be him. And indeed, level 16 does deliver. And Zephon is just having to walk away now. And actually, maybe that's that confidence change for LTI. They know they can win those team fights now, as long as they coordinate it right. But Vex, crucially, not died this game yet. So, Top Avity does have those resets. And certainly, it's about 4k gold difference, but certainly Phoenix is still their game to lose at the moment, as we see the next Cloud Drake will be up in about 10 seconds. This is Cloud Soul, potentially, for Phoenix. This gives them some extra move speed in the team fights. Of course, someone like an Akali with that perfect execution. You know, those 2 charges can help with that mobility a lot. But just got to get it right with that Kassadin. Just keep him alive. Take down that Zeri like you did last time. And you can still win this game. It's just all about belief in League sometimes. Let's get the hype in the chat. Hashtag Casa win. Or hashtag Casa lose. Who knows? That's an original one. You can keep that. But the Drake has been started. Akali's on it. Not the most damage can be done to that Drake, of course. The Zeri's the one that's going to be doing it. The Akali, Amumu has taken a lot of damage, so he is going to have 1 hit. He's going to probably lose his life if he goes in. Drake at about 5,000 health. Taking very, very slowly. Baiting in LTI. The Ornn is coming in. Hits 3 members of Phoenix. And now the ults have been popped. The cease and desist goes on it. But the Akali just is too quick to the trigger. Takes 2 members of LTI down. The Kassadin is by himself. He does get the shutdown onto the Akali, but can he survive the rest of the fight? The Zeri is doing so much damage, and unfortunately the Zeri is cleaning up again and gets the triple kill to probably seal the final fate. The Cloud Drake not even going to be taken for Cloud Soul, and the Baron is probably going to be taken at the same time, actually, it looks like. And we may have Rat back, I believe.
Yeah, sorry, my power just completely went out. It seems that, red side is winning a bit too hard, so it's affecting even my side of the, globe.
Yeah, it's alright. We had a DC for in here as well, so clearly the league gods not helping us today. But yeah, you did miss actually a cast-in triple kill as well, weirdly. But yeah, you can see the Cloud Souls come in, and the Baron just about. I think Deadly Fish might be lucky to stay alive here. Yeah, it should be fine. So yeah, as you can see here, a huge sway between the two teams. There was about a 4k gold difference, but Azeri triple kill has quashed that now back to an 8k gold lead.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get my bearings of
Yeah, everything.
what's happening. Yeah, I'm just trying to read
Yeah.
item changes, CS. Sorry.
Yeah. Where you can see things like, the Akali's going for the Void Staff as well, probably just to, I mean, still no kills on the jungler or top laner for LTI. Akali is now just hunting and has no problem at all. I mean, could probably tank that tower in one good flash away, but the Ignite still goes and takes down the Samira 1 in 5. Just too many high death this game as Zeri now is focusing onto the Ornn. Thomas E is going to have to flash away to avoid his 7th death of the game. Maokai ult did activate, but in the end not taken down as they now look to push in onto LTI's base.
And this is the Radiant Virtue, where Radiant Virtue, the Radiant Virtue patch where Radiant Virtue did get changed, so it actually provides more healing over a burst instead of over a single duration. And
Yeah.
they remove the CDR you get from that you give to your teammates, to yourself.
Yeah,
it's
even the Vi's taking it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, you don't want to, as like, you don't want to see as an item gets changed, even bruisers are building it more now. Or they're still building it actually. Whereas the item got changed mainly for tanks. So that tanks could, build it more, optimize it more instead of just bruisers. Same with the Jack shows.
Yeah, Jack Show used across the board sometimes. Amongst like the Ornn here, obviously is more of a kind of a true tank champion, as you call it, maybe. And even like on a bruiser. I mean, I play some Diana jungle and even take Jack Show on her as well, which of course, isn't probably the expected kind of champion that they thought would build it. So, just because it's just a great overall tanky item, bit of magic resist, bit of armor, bit of health, and just does the job really. So, Phoenix here now gonna turn their attention to the top lane turrets, the last inhibitor standing.
So things to look out for right now. Castan did just get his Rabadons, so he's no longer the level 6 Castan that we saw from before.
Yeah.
He is really he should be cleaning up these fights, as we've seen him going for the engage. The Q comes out.
It's just a shame when your Ornn is backing away. Cease and desist goes in. Can the Vi sustain the damage? Yornhorn does well to take down the Zeri. Samira is the one to take him down though. Takes down the Maokai as well, but watch the Akali. She is doing so much work. She is by herself though, being knocked up and knocked up. Can she survive? No, it's a triple kill for the Samira. Vex is able to shut that down before it turns into our first Penta of the game, and the Vex uses those little legs and runs and runs and runs, but for now, LTI are able to survive another wave and will just defend their base.
I mean, really, really bad call and really bad play from the side of Phoenix. There was absolutely no need for that engage, for that dive. You did get the inhib, but at what cost? Samuel got a triple kill. She's now able to afford a full Spectre's cow.
Yeah.
Castan does have that stopwatch for the flash engage. Vex just poorly misplayed that fight. She was looking for an engage on the Samira, but the Samira W just everything. Really bad call. They really should have timed the Samira W.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happened when you weren't here for the cast-in triple kill, is that it kind of just fell apart. Everyone did their own thing. The Zeri got shut down very quickly, and Zephon was in a bit of no man's land and just had to jump out. So, that's two of your 3 carries taken out, and that, just left the Vex by herself, really, to try and defend. So, you can see where, if LTI had probably just reduced their deaths earlier on in the game, where their strengths really would have lied. That if the Ornn had kind of survived a bit better in lane, if Vi had not died as much, and you've got the Amumu as well, but now this Kassadin is so strong, he's going to be taking down a Vex in 3 Witwalks. The Akali is there as well with the Lulu, though. Wild Growth is going to do a lot. Here comes the Maokai ultimate. Going to root the casting in place. He activates the stopwatch for now. Can he get away, though? The Akali has managed to proc her E. She comes in, tries to do more and more damage. She is focusing casting, but Akali is by herself. Cease and desist is exactly what happens there. LTI roots the Maokai, but he's able to flash away. And yeah, just Zephon just getting a bit too greedy there in the end.
Again, no need for this type of play. Elder's coming up in a minute, Baron's coming up in a minute. You're stronger for now if you can execute draft correctly. You have both summoners on the side of Phoenix. Just absolutely no need for that play.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Cloud Soul, you had Baron, and just had to kind of... This is where you objectively walk it in. This is what separates, I think, you know, the great teams from the good teams, isn't it? That's seeing out this win when they've got a potential hyper carry in that casting, but Thomas E, he's walking into a brush with no ward. That means he's going to have no life left either. And that is just a simple kill taken for Phoenix. And now it is a 5v4 at least, when this Elder Dragon is coming up in a few seconds.
Can you not point out, Zeri did pop her ultimate, so she's no longer a champion for the next 40 seconds or so. So if LTI does want to contest it, there is an angle for it possibly. But...
Oh, that's a lot of damage onto that movement. Gonna have to jump away. I don't think the Vi is gonna have any contest, although the Dragon is still very beefy. The Maokai ultimates come in as well. Vex is just holding the front line at the moment. The Fear should be able to take them down very soon. Zeri's flashed over the wall. The ultimate comes in from the Vex, as well. And that is just a very simple Elder Dragon. Now, with that extra damage buff, the ultimate comes in, it's popped, and takes down the Amumu as well, out of nowhere. Sitting on a control ward, clearly there. And does get it again, but Cassidy just says nope. And
yeah, that should just be game. Really, big mistakes here.
Can he do it here? This is your moment, Cassidin. 3 members against 4. I mean, that Zeri is looking very squishy. I mean, probably one combo might even take it down. Goes in, the root on the Maokai. This is the moment they're going to try and take him down. The stopwatch has been activated. The Ornhorn is going to keep the Akali busy for now. Casted is still full health. Zeri's got to be so careful. Akali, though, she is tanky. She's got the wild growth on her. The turret is going down in the meantime as well. But it's 3 members. They take down the Akali. Samira takes down the Zeri. And the Maokai, the Samira ultimate is popped, but to no avail. Sadly, no kill there. The Lulu is very low. Surely is not going to get away. The slow, very well executed there. And surely you thought that was the end of the game, like you said. But for somehow, LTI just managed to stand strong. I think it's probably Phoenix just miscoordinating rather than LTI pulling off a great play, you'd say.
I mean, that should have been game. There was no reason that the game is still going on. And that they get to take this Baron for free now. They get to solve the game a little bit longer.
Yeah. Oh, man, this is... I don't know about you, but this is PTSD for me watching this. I've been that Maokai before. I've been on that team where you are almost 10,000 gold ahead and you just can't quite take down that last little base in the corner. You can take down their 3 inhibitors, their turrets, but they just stand strong. As we've got another engage here as well. The Castin is onto the Maokai. The wild growth is not going to do much for you there. The Lulu is also very low. The Lulu gets the shutdown onto the Cassidin, though. They, of course, do have the Elder Dragon, and Vex gets her kill as well. The Baron will get taken down. The Vex has popped the ultimate. Is she going to jump in? Yes, she is now, because the Vi is by herself. The Maokai is very low. It should be able to survive. I mean, he is very tanky. Vi is going to try and take him down with her, and he is going to survive. But the Elder Dragon buff was still there. And Lulu is the savior to take down the big Cassidin carry. And now it's a tall order to defend this base.
I mean, again, no one really understands what the team... No one's really on the same page. No one's really understanding who wants to go for what. The Cassidin should be making these type of calls. And, I don't know if it's just... no one is talking to each other, but no one's following up with the Cassidin as the game should end again in the 40th minute.
Yeah, should, would, and could. Akali is trying to do her best, just push these lane in. Of course, it is Baron empowered minions who are doing a lot here, and Nazeri is activated the ultimate as well. Akali is on the side. She is so low, and it's taken down again. Samira's got the double kill. She's doing so much damage. Amumu doing very well to hold the fort here. He's going to be popped by the Zeri in the end, sadly, but the Samira is here. She's got so much to stay on her. The Cassidin Superman is coming in, baby. He's going to take down and pop the GA as well, crucially, which is going to be a huge turnaround there. Can he take them down still? The Vex is up, but taken down. And the Kassadin comes up to save his team. I don't know. I just see something happen, and all of a sudden it's like a little production machine. Just you throw something in, and it spits something else out, and I'm like, that's not what I wanted. Where's the Fed Akali, the Fed's Vex? And now LTI are honing down the mid lane and going to be taking down the inhibitor turret.
I mean, absolute thriller of a game.
Came back at the right time.
Both teams are really misplaying it, and we don't really see a huge amount of team play going on. No one's really peeling for the Zeri besides the Lulu, which is her, she's been laning with the Zeri. She knows that she's the only team member that matters at the moment. Yeah, but it'll come down to who makes less mistakes. Not the one who makes the play, but yeah.
Yeah,
as Elder is coming up in a minute 40.
Yeah, it's interesting, so, Samira's taking a Spirit Visage, for instance, which is probably keeping her alive very well. I mean, if you ever wanted as much lifesteal, as much healing as possible, that is the build to go. The Shield Bow, the Bloodthirster, the Spirit Visage to buff your healing as well. I mean, that's just all about staying alive at this point, isn't it, really?
Yes. And Zeri should ideally get enough or generate enough gold to sell this GA for maybe a DP or even Black Clear at the moment, because LTI is just so damn tanky.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so where do you see? So do you just think Phoenix they're not coordinating their fights enough? Like, it's just, I mean, for me, it seems they are quite sporadic. Akali goes in, and she jumps over to the other side.
She's gonna die again here. This is really bad. I mean, they don't make the call to overcommit. As Maokai does come out, this is really huge as also coming up in 30 seconds.
Yeah, has been burned. So will come up in looks like it's probably going to come up in, 30 seconds at most, really. So shouldn't have too much problem. But they are focusing down the mid lane now. They just want to get this game done. Phoenix, they've had two...
None of members on the LTR are backing.
No, really Samira is still there. Samira's got to come over, but Kassadin is going to be doing so much work. He is a scary force to deal with. The Lulu, you do not want to be there, my friend.
Yeah, but you ask me, is LTI misplaying it? Is Phoenix not coordinating correctly? But yeah, I think there's more power in Phoenix's hands than there is in LTI's. Akali goes in.
It's a good fear onto the Vi.
I mean, we're gonna see an action here, but Akali's gonna go in.
Oh no!
She's gonna take down
Samira is by herself. She's been caught out. This is not what you want. But Akali is the victim. The victim is the attacker. And in the end, Akali goes down. The Elder Drake is here. The cease and desist is popped onto the Zeri. She's tanky for now. The Wild Growth has been popped. She is at the back doing the damage. Kassadin is not in the fight yet. Amuumu's coming in. He's trying to see if he can activate the ultimate in a good one. Kassadin flashes in, takes down the Zeri. That is one DPS left. Lulu is getting very low as well. The Vex is in there trying to do some damage. She's at the back. Kassadin takes down the enemy jungler. But the base, LTI have got to get back. They've got to defend their base. They don't even have time to take down the Elder Dragon. It's a free Elder Dragon, but it looks like they might even just end. There's a TP coming in from the Vex as well. We don't have the technology to split two screens, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll jump back. Vex is going to try and take it down. Surely not. The Samira defends the base, and LTI, they have come back. They have stood firm, and they have won this game from a 10,000 gold deficit.
I mean, props to LTI, but if you're Phoenix, it's a really, your mental block for the rest of the day. No matter what activity you do, it's just completely doomed for you. We saw Akali going in, not really coordinating with the Zeri, which targets to pick up because you want to be coordinating with the Zeri. You have massive damage coming out, but she just goes in, tries to get the perfect execution off, doesn't really get it, dies. The team fight dismantles and falls apart for Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, that's like when you had the tools, right, to win the game. You had a Fed Akali, you had a Fed Zeri, you had a Fed Vex. I mean, there was a fight when the Akali died and Zeri just cleaned up shop for them. and just didn't pull through. I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's like that machine, and you've got all the right combinations and the right tools, and it just doesn't produce the win. And that's where it probably shows just that kind of edge of coordination and seeing out a game. And they had Elder Dragon. I mean, just baffling. But yeah, like you said, kudos to LTI. They had that Cassadin who was just doing so much work. I mean, I'm just gonna show you the damage stats here. We had, let's see, Akali 45,000 damage, very good. Vex 55,000, but the Cassadin came out with 58,000 damage. Next highest on his team was the Samira on 27,000. So if his back is going to be very, very sore on that game. But yeah, I mean, um, incredible game in the end. Just really thought it was going to be one way, but like I said, when you're off, that these games have got more comebacks than they usually have. Maybe League's in a bad state, but these comebacks are very common at the moment. So
I
there
mean,
you
if you're
go.
watching this, if you're, oh, is that it?
Go on. Yeah, no, sorry. Carry on.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's all good.
But if
Yep.
you're watching these games as a competitor in this league or in any amateur league for that matter, you really got to question if the picks in pro play and the meta right now, if you can optimize the solo queue champions a bit more for these type of elos. But yeah, we saw Maokai, Lulu, Zeri apps given to Red Side, and they just completely lost it. Was it due to poor team play? Maybe, but you gotta maybe you optimize the draft a bit more for solo queue then.
Yeah, I mean, you're the one that did say, didn't you, that you preferred Phoenix's draft, and that was coming through so well, wasn't it? The Akali was doing well, the Zeri had no problem in that bot lane, and Vex Castin didn't really have much action in that mid lane. I think there was maybe one gank from the Maokai. Um, so yeah, apart from that, not really much action there. But yeah, so whew, I mean, what a game to start the day, really. So we have got a second game, and it is actually lethal target inferiority (LTI) coming back again to build on that incredible comeback, and they are going to be coming up against Limelight in Gratis. So we are going to step away for 5 minutes, and we will come back for some more juicy comeback action. Hopefully, see you in a sec. Welcome back, everyone, for the second game for tonight. We have got lethal target inferiority against Limelight Ingratus, and if you did miss the first game, you have missed out, unfortunately, because LTI were against Phoenix and came back in incredible fashion, all thanks to the notorious late game casting, and it was quite a sight to behold. So if you have missed that, then do check out our stream after this and flick through it. It is quite the watch. But for now, we are going to see if LTI can win their second game of tonight against Limelight Ingratus. And I have beside me Rat as colorcaster and as current or former maybe gold top laner. How are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, coming off of after the last game definitely makes you question whether you should be going for these, carry champions in every single role. But, we did see the Maokai not do too well there. So we'll see if LPI chooses to, draft the same comp wise at least. But yeah,
Mm. Yeah, it was an
that
interesting one, wasn't it? Sorry, go on. You're going to say?
yeah, that win. I feel like that win was just really massive for LTI. You were down a lot of goal. You were about to lose the game, but you know they just pull off the win, and it really helps them. I think it'll help them in this game too.
Yeah, certainly it kind of helps that they can, instead of the usual kind of best of three series where that they'd have to adjust against the same team, they just get to kind of change their approach in against a brand new team. So maybe the Ornn it's used again, but just depending on the matchup they get. I mean, you saw the Akali come through, so something like that, then maybe not the right choice there. But the casting did come through eventually. I mean, it was probably down to some maybe lack of end game for Phoenix rather than the casting doing well. I mean, when you're a late game casting, you just have to jump on people really. I mean, but did pretty well nonetheless. So, do you think a casting's a good way to go for this game as well, or just kind of see what the matchup is?
I mean, they did blind pick it, and then Red Side responded with a Vex, which in my opinion isn't best counter pick. I mean, you do get that early wave in, you do get that lost chapter power spike, but in the end, when it comes down to 25 minutes, I think casting is just so much more powerful, and Vex is just there's a lot more misplay on Vexes than there is on the Cassidans.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Vex had her moments, had the resets, but I think kudos to the Amumu. I think Her Majesty did pretty well, just kind of causing issues and just disrupting the enemy team. Really, you can see the kind of the rank differences here at the moment. You've got some diamond players, some high silver, so it's quite a broad spectrum. Whether that's an alternative account and they are silver or not, we'll see. But we are now into the pick and ban phase with the Janna first
Yeah,
one
as
coming
Janna
out.
is the first van. Now there is a sort of Janna one trick on the enemy team. Last 10 games,
Yeah,
seven of them have been Janna. I mean, he has an almost 70% win rate with almost 10 games played. Really makes you question whether this guy has any outside activities, I mean,
yeah, doesn't waste his evenings playing Janna. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, in my opinion, don't ban the Janna out. Use your ban on someone else. If you play correctly, as we see the custom ban coming out from last game, if you play correctly, there's really no need for the Janna ban.
yeah. I mean, it's not one that's going to carry a game, is it? Really? So you just kind of can play against it, play around it. But you
Yeah.
do see that the Mumu is actually banned by LTI, so clearly not going for it and not going to let them have it. But you can see though that Limelight have done their homework. They have checked the previous game and they've seen that Kassadin do pretty well. And the Vi, I mean, did all right. Managed to kind of lock down the Akali, I suppose. So maybe they just want to make sure that's not maybe a comfort pick for the LTI jungler. As we're now
Yeah.
into the picks.
As we see the Aatrox, I mean, somewhat of an
Mm.
Aatrox one trick myself. I think this pick has really, no counterplay in lane.
Yeah.
All you can do against it is just try your best to go even. Aatrox has no bad matchups besides maybe a Gangplank of Fiora, but I don't think anyone, plays these will play these champions, sort of the solo carry or the, playmaker champions in these type of games, as we see the Ornn,
Mm.
Elysium, Sakas.
Yeah, apologies to those who are watching. I didn't actually have the client up yet from the first couple of picks, but we're back on track now. But yeah, so interesting. They're going to face against the Ornn with an Aatrox, quite a common matchup, across the board there with a Yoni and Cassiopeia opposite each other, which, to start off with, obviously Yoni is going to be pretty strong, but again, it's kind of the flip round of the Castin Vex that, as the game goes on later, that Cassiopeia is going to be really difficult to deal with those Twin Fangs. But the last band, Samira, coming out, yeah, I think did have her moments in that last game as well. So going to have to go something else there. The Caitlyn picked that long range against the Varus there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's already looking rough for bot lane.
Yeah,
Caitlyn Lux. I mean, we're just gonna see the same thing happen again from last game, where Samira and Momo come. I mean, they went even, but in a Caitlyn lane, it should be way, way more Caitlyn favored, especially into the Varus and Lulu.
yeah. I mean, yeah, from very short range to very long range now, isn't it? So
Yeah,
they are facing against a Lulu again, but with a Varus this time. So slightly different angle, different approach to go about. So, I mean, if you're the Varus Lulu, how do you kind of navigate that lane against that long range Caitlyn and Lux?
and it's just gonna be a repeat of last game. Besides, now you have a very sort of very not very powerful team fighting champ. You have instead of a team fight, you have a CC ultimate. So you could look for those isolated picks, maybe with the Zac. Obviously, the Zac can jump in from over the wall, but 90 out of 100 times, you're probably just gonna concede CS, wait for your Ginsu's power spike.
Yeah, I mean those arrows from Varus are gonna cause a lot of issues. I'd like to see a Baron steal this game. That's the dream to see it at this level as well. After we've seen it so much in the pro scene, so we
Yeah.
do have both full teams locked in now with LTI and Limelight. Ingratus, that's the one. Yeah, we do have two Limelight
As
teams as well. So
yeah, as the spectator delay is coming in, we are unfortunately gonna have to wait another 2 minutes and 30 seconds. But interesting picks I want to point out: Zac, Yon, Cassiopeia. Zac did get nerfed this patch, and with
mm,
the Radiant, I mean, I think he's sort of in the same state. It's the same state. Demonic obviously got buffed for melee champions
yeah,
a patch ago. If he, I mean, his AP ratios did get nerfed, but they didn't get nerfed that much, only by about 5-10% on most visibilities. Radiant is going to be really big. He's going to be building more health. It's going to be impacting him more now. He's going to be not healing his teammates a lot, but he's going to survive more. And I think with survivability, Zac does benefit a lot. Cassiopeia, interesting pick. I mean, they're going for this sort of CC style, front to back comp. I think Yon should not get a lot of headroom in this matchup,
mm,
but we'll see what the Elise will have to say about that. Also, the Elise Young just isn't a really good combo. Synergist well the Aatrox, but you want something that has high high all in or at least some form of CC in mid, so
yeah,
that the Elise can land that cocoon and then execute for you.
yeah. It's not the best combo, of course. You only can provide the damage, but in an ideal world, Elise just wants to be able to have the easiest shot possible. At least though, the Cassiopeia is a more immobile champion than other mid laners like an Akali or a Kassadin, I suppose, in some ways. But yeah, you've got that kind of AD side of it, and it's a good mix. But again, LTI, I mean, in contrast to the last game where they had three very tanky members of their team, really the Aatrox is probably the beefiest champion on their team this time, and after that, everyone else is very much easy for the taking. So it's almost like they've kind of adopted Phoenix's approach to last game. Those kind of three potential carry champions, and actually facing against Limelight that have gone the Zac, the Ornn, and the Lulu, three kind of more supporting or tank based champions with just the two carries there. So do you see LTI kind of still pulling it off this time, or how do you think
I mean, yeah,
Limelight will fare?
they have good. I mean, yeah, of course they have good matchups in both side lanes. Mid lane's the only problem, but with the Yonald and the sort of maybe intermediate CC that Aatrox, Lux, and Kalen have, maybe they can swing fights in their way. I just don't see it happening uh, that many times.
Mm. Yeah, it's well, I mean, I suppose in some ways we did predict the right draft last time, but in the end it was just the comeback, really, wasn't it? So maybe it turns out the same this time. But yeah, I think from my own perspective, I think the Zac Ornn engage is a great combination. And when you've got the Cassiopeia Varus kind of in the backline as well, I think, yeah, I do like Limelight's comp a lot better. But after just watching LTI and just that, I don't know whether it's just that passion and just that hype from that last game. I kind of fancy LTI to do it again, really. So we shall see how that goes this time. As of course, do have a slight bug with the spectator here at the moment, which we'll sort in very short time. And there we go. We are all good to go with a bit of a pause anyway, just as we get in typical fashion.
So the mid laner for Limelight seems to have been DC'd, and I want to just take this pastime to highlight him. Conquer Ghost. You don't really see Conquer being ran that often. It's usually Phase Rush to Cassiopeia has a lot of the symptoms that Rice has, short range, but a lot of movement speed, so a lot of potential for misplay probably. So, but Ghost helps the mobility in team fights, and Conquer helps with DPS. Into a comp like Aatrox Ion, where you're gonna be maybe the primary secondary target that Kayle and Lux want to focus you. I
Yeah,
don't think it's good. I think Phase Rush with the Sorcery Tree, with the Gathering Storm, you want to go late with this comp. I think Phase Rush would have been so much better.
yeah. I think it sounds like maybe that this time going for some sustain, but yeah, you're right that the move speed and the mobility with that phase rush would have been nice. Does have the ghost at least, so obviously just won't have that bonus move speed as often as would have had, but we shall see how that pans out. Yeah, and kind of looking at the other ones, really, all kind of quite standard, really, with the grasp on the Ornn and the Guardian, I believe it's called, on the Zac.
Yeah.
And then, the Electrocute on the Elise to go for that, just burst damage. And the Lethal Tempo for the Oni and the Caitlyn, of course.
It'll be really interesting to see what type of build Aatrox goes for, as we can see, prolific Aatrox one trick, Nile, trying to preach that Iceborne build with the Ceruldes and Athemas. This game, I won't say it's that good. Cassiopeia, Zac, Ornn, the only DPS is Varus, and he's going to be dealing some type of magic damage. I think Gore Drinker or Divine Sunder into Ornn Zac is really, really good here.
Yeah, I think, going that kind of more sustain kind of build. I mean, if you're Limelight, you're going to want to go some Grievous Wounds quite early on, I think, with that Yoni and Aatrox. And, I mean, Caitlyn doesn't have the lifesteal, I suppose, but, maybe towards the end she might have some of that as well. So, just a bit of a dance off at the moment to begin with in the mid lane. I think the Zac is probably winning that one at the moment. But otherwise, no kind of funny business with either team there, standing their professional duties. And some bad playing from the Oni there. But
I mean, a minute into the game, nothing else to talk about. I want to highlight the best patch that we've had since Runes Reforged, the best change. Trundle's dance now scales the movement speed.
Oh,
I
no
mean,
way.
yeah, I mean, just a really good quality of life change for Trundle. I think it will impact his win rate a lot. Something that maybe we can see a lot on other champs. Maybe Ornn has that, running man dance.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
his can scale with movement speed. Maybe we can see that Trundle
Yeah,
treatment.
taunt enemies more.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to put our dancing shoes aside for now as minions have come in, jungle camps have spawned. And again, both junglers starting on the top side of the map. Probably going to be having a go at that bot lane again. But interesting kind of as the Zac, obviously as junglers, when I'm thinking about my jungle pathing is that when you're the weaker jungler like a Zac against an Elise, you don't really want to be meeting up against your enemy jungler like that. So assuming he maybe goes to mid lane instead, but at the moment he's going to be pathing down the same way as the Elise, which he's going to lose that 1v1 if he does meet in the river sort of thing. But do you see the Zac kind of changing his path maybe, or do you think he's just going to kind of assess it as it goes on?
I mean, if you pass towards the top side here, you're playing Ornn into Aatrox. Ornn doesn't do that much damage, especially early. Maybe when
Cassiopeia's been knocked up though. There is that CC. The cocoon goes in. Can Nigel walk away? No. The first blood with that ignite goes to the former Castin player, Black Lurthlia, on the Yoni this time. And yeah, straight
and
in.
You know what? I take it back. Gets the Q3, gets the W off, it gets the cocoon timing correctly. Doesn't really allow for a flash rune.
Yeah.
Yeah, just really well played.
Yeah, no flash burnt, of course, or ghost even. So, definitely had the time before the knock-up, but in the end, the kill going over there, and yeah, proven wrong on the CC, but there you go. Thomas having a bit of trouble there.
Just, completely getting chunked out by the Ornn. I don't know if it's just, he's still in that weak side mentality from having played Ornn from last game.
Yeah.
But there's no way you should ever lose any HP or lose a trade to Ornn as Aatrox at all.
Yeah.
One more key thing I want to highlight is Zac didn't actually counter gank, so he should be as those.
Yeah, we're going to pause that for a minute. The cocoon did miss, but of course Yoni doing so much damage. Can he pop back and do the damage? The red buff is ticking, but not going to be able to do enough this time. And only Aatrox very low here. Of course, we'll get the lifesteal back. Flashes away. Ornn doesn't have any mana though, and it's just both members will be able to walk away, licking their wounds. Almost another kill there. Yeah,
there's just so much going wrong for both sides. For LTI,
effort, and Elise is not hitting those cocoons. Unfortunately, that was just a standing target. I think trying to predict almost where the Ornn was going to be, but the flash is burned at least. And you can see that LTI certainly trying to be proactive here with those ganks.
No reason the cocoon shouldn't have hit, even if Ornn was Wing. You just wait for the Aatrox knockup, and it's guaranteed.
Yeah, he thought after that first brilliantly landed cocoon in the mid lane that we're going to have a succession of those, but unfortunately just not quite followed suit. Lilith Leo, he's going in for something there, but the miasma's come down, not going to be able to do much there. And
now Elise did back. I want to just highlight vision really quickly. Cassiopeia just brought a bot side. She was just overextending with no vision in side lane. Zac wasn't even close to coming.
Yeah, well, he's in now with the slingshot as well. He misses the arm onto the Yoni, so he's going to walk away though. The ghost is activated though on the Cassiopeia. Blacklid has burned the flash, and the Ornn is going to take the 1v1. Meanwhile, in a kind of a cutaway scene, as you like, and now the Zac is by himself. Broken Blades. Not the TSM version, or G2 version I should say now, is going to be able to jump to safety without burning that passive, but Cassiopeia is a lowly snake. She is by herself, and she's just going to be a case of who takes the kill, and it's going to go over to the Caitlyn in the end. Probably not ideal for them, but 0 and 2 already on this Castin.
Aatrox did that in the top lane. I just, I don't know what to say. you shouldn't really be dying to Ornn at any time, no matter what champion you are.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a bruiser, assassin, mage, tank, all in one, according to LS, but
Yeah.
no, there's just no excuse. If you're Varus, though, you're down, after this entire wave, it'll be around 10 CS. Actually, it's 10 CS now.
Yeah.
You are for sure tilted after that Cassiopeia kill does go over to Kaelin, so we'll see how that pans out, as they are doing Drake here.
Yeah, first Drake of the game is going to be a Mountain Drake, so does open the door for maybe a more exciting one than last time, maybe an Infernal or a Chemtech back in this new season. But yeah, you can see that the Zac wasn't really anywhere near, probably wouldn't have contested that if he was, I suppose. But yeah, like you said, in that bot lane, that the Caitlyn does already have that Noon Quiver over the Varus. He does have it now as well, actually. Just as I say that, just makes me eat my own words. But yeah, interesting in this top lane that just that kind of... I know what it is. I mean, you obviously probably know as a top laners, this fight does kind of go back and forth. The Flash Cocoon comes in, lands the Yoni ult as well. Everything is landing, and Lilith gets his second kill of the game. And is probably enjoying a far greater streak this time than last one, at least, and carrying on that Kassadin confidence he ended that game with.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Berserkers by, really it helps you stack those Qs. As we saw the ult come out, the Flash Cocoon was a really big play. Knowing Cassiopeia doesn't have both summoners, and your Yone can follow up with you, just a really well played from the Elise, as we see the Zac coming in with the slingshot.
Yeah, it does keep the Yoni under turret for now, but I think he's just stalling while Cassiopeia is here, but nothing is really going to happen here. Thomas E, he has activated the ultimate though, the World Ender. Is he going to be able to take him down? Yes, finally! After that unfortunate first death, he is now in control and does take down the Ornn, but I think the Ornn will probably be pretty tanky coming back next time. But nice to see Thomas does get his first kill of today at least, not going to end the day with no kills at all.
Now, Lux did roam top for this Herald play, anticipating some fight, but getting the solo kill on the Ornn. It looks like they won't contest it with Zac being bot side.
Yeah.
And Zac and Varus are looks like they're pushing anyway, as we see the Q3 come out, and it does hit. Really well played. This is just really well played from LTI. I mean, if we ignore the top lane misplays.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Another Cocoon missing there.
Everyone is functioning on the same play, on the same page.
Yeah, it just seems a lot more cohesive this game, doesn't it? You know, 3 members of LTI all came in that mid lane. Putting down the Rift Herald, I mean, it's going to take kind of 2 plates, basically, a plate and a half. But you can see that the bot lane is still possibly being sized up, but in the end, LTI bot lane are going to walk away from that and no kills come of that. But this is where LTI, they're on the other end of this state last game. We're going to be mentioning that a lot. But,
yeah,
you know, yeah, go on.
Just, if we look at jungle CS, they're equal camps. If we look at the jungle items, Zac should be out ganking or either keeping up in KP or having more CS than the Elise. Elise has already gone 3 successful ganks off. Zac hasn't gone off any, so it's just, I don't know, just really big misplays on Zac.
Yeah, I think when you know that you're against an Elise as well, meanwhile we'll have to hold that point though. The Varus coming in, Chains of Corruption, rooting down the Lux. Is she going to survive? No, the Wild Growth is going to keep him alive and give him that advantage that he needs. The Fatal Shield comes in. He is stunned momentarily though. And the Cassiopeia, is she going to get a kill? No, just no hope at all. And that's a 4th death and a 3rd kill for the Yoni. Very nice support from the jungler. That has been a really nice duo partnership in that mid lane there. As we did see though, at least Lil Ison does get his first kill of the game and some respite for Limelight.
See the Bramble by on the side of Ornn. I mean, it is what it is. Previous wounds always help us. We see the slingshot coming out. Maybe this is a bad angle.
Yeah, Zac does have his passive, and I think it's going to go down very, very soon if he's not careful. Did try a bit of an engage, but his Varus doesn't have the most health in the world. So again, yeah, like you said, not really probably well planned out there. Just kind of hitting hoping almost. and he's going to have to try again, really, to get that first successful gank on the board. But at the moment, for now, LTI, they've made a very good start. Certainly strong in the mid lane, and it's just whether Black Lilith can convert this lead, I should say, into the win. But how much do you think this is based from that confidence from the first game, or do you think this kind of would have been panning out anyway? Do you think they had that comeback win, would have been a different play if they hadn't ended up winning that first game?
And we saw just a complete stomp on all sides of the map. Top, jungle, mid, bottom, bottom. They did concede. They did get a lot early, but if they hadn't come back, they lost instantly from that massive lead that they gave Red. I think that it definitely would have impacted this game and the way that they drafted or played. Maybe if Castle wasn't bad, we would have seen the Castle pick again. But
yeah,
coming off the late game power spike into a carry for Black Lilith, into now playing a skirmish heavy champ that's great at all stages of the game, I think it's good.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, probably wouldn't have been banned either, I think, if Limelight had seen that they'd lost that game with the casting, then probably would have let it through. Thomas, I mean, even from that kill, you can see the confidence change in him, that's for sure. After he was being pegged back by the Ornn. It looks like most of this action. The Varus has been rooted though. Chain of Corruption coming in. Is that going to be able to do enough? They are focusing onto the Lux under turret here. Zac comes in and gets his self-assist as well, but the Aatrox has joined the fight as well. Yoni, Fate Sealed, comes in onto two members. He takes down the Varus for now at least. And now the Lulu is going to have to run for the hills. She does get knocked up once, but I think she should be okay for now. Caitlyn does get the Q and the ace in the hole. Not enough damage for now, but you can see there, effort is in the wings. Maybe hoping to clean up that kill.
Aatrox is overthinking. There's no reason he should be chasing this or leeching any plates.
Yep.
Sharing plates between three members of a team, not really efficient. Doesn't really give you anything. I mean, less than a pink ward.
Yeah.
He has no TP now. Ornn gets to get the gold for free. You never want to give Ornn gold. All you want to give him is XP.
Yeah, building those items, of course, will be a problem. Yeah, just hung around a bit too long. But crucially, though, did take down the enemy ADC. And the kill, I think, went over to the Elise that time, I believe. So she's got her first kill on the board. And you can see 5 kill participation and a second Drake. Certainly does show the difference between the two junglers for now.
Yeah. As we see the Rod being bought from Cassiopeia, 14 minutes. Standard. Now it really gets to, how long at 24 minutes we'll see if she can do anything with the Saras Rod. Interesting note, by the way, Cassiopeia passive does outscale, as we see her taking an awful trade, even with the Q3 missing. Cassiopeia passive does outscale boost movement speed at later stages of the game, so that'll be interesting to see how he uses that.
Yeah, of course, can't be fitting any boots on the tail there. Zac's coming in, engaging onto the Yoni for now, but he's got 2 members of the team with her flash. Cocoon in, but she has been stunned where she stands for now. The flash away by the Cassiopeia will keep her in safety, and in the end, no kills from that very engage heavy play. A lot of flashes burned there from both junglers, one jungler, sorry, and the mid laner. As Rift Herald will be continued by LTI there.
Second Herald, not that big,
Yeah.
But if you're Caitlyn, you're definitely, hoping that your team can turn it around on top. So you are bringing Lux top. You're hoping that Caitlyn can auto-attack from safe range, but with Lulu Varus, they have so much pushing power that it doesn't even really matter. They take the turret.
Yeah, turret for Rift Herald, see what they can do with that. The mid lane turret does look pretty weak, though, in terms of Limelight side, but the Fate Sealed did not quite land this time as well. Yoni is in the middle. He will pop back, though, at least for now to safety, just before he is about to meet his own fate. And does get to safety, but at the moment, yeah, that first turret is popped by, surprisingly, Limelight. They are the first ones to get a turret this game. with that bonus gold. So going on to the Varus there, looking pretty strong. 2 kills to his name. And if we look at the gold difference between each lane, you can see about 500 in that top over the Aatrox. And Ornhorn has been activated here. Does pop it, does knock up the Aatrox, but I think that's just more of a warning shot than an engage, really, isn't it? So the Elise has got it about 700 gold over the Zac. But of course, again, it is that mid lane. Almost 2,000 gold difference between the Yone and Cassiopeia at the moment.
Yep, and I mean, the World Ender was really unnecessary there.
Yeah.
Maybe he was scared of the Elise coming, but now there's a fight that's going to break out. I mean, there's nothing real to fight for, but if there was a fight to break out, he would for sure call it off.
Yeah, he does have that Black Cleaver now, obviously that strong anti-tank item, but whether it's enough to face with the health he's at the moment, he's getting very, very low, and I think Zigor is aware of that as well, happy to just stay in lane, gets the knock up as well, but not enough to really take the kill at the moment. Zac jumps in onto the Caitlyn, the heal is popped to try and save her for now. Chain of Corruption has locked her in place, and she's taken down. Lil Ison getting the kill there, 3rd of the game. The cleanses pops just for safe measure, and Broken Blade is going to have to jump to safety as well. Yone came in, but just too late there, and the ADC for LTI goes down for the first time this game.
I mean, that's just a symptom of pure, gold diff. You don't really, if you're behind like this, I mean, not really behind, but if you're behind on the top side of the map, you're for sure.
That has been popped. Thomas thinks he can take it, but
he just
taken
gets
down.
He just gets absolutely collapsed.
That was a nope right there.
Yeah, and I'm sorry.
Right.
We saw the Demolish proc coming.
Oh, didn't get the stun. The Yone just turned around at the last minute. I don't know if you saw that. That was brilliantly played. And now, in the end, he's not be able to get the kill. The minion. You just saw the little shot there. Thought it was going to be enough. A flash away from the cocoon will save the Ornn as well. Oh man, I wish we had a replay of that. I mean, I could technically go on the timeline and try and find it, but there was just that moment you thought the ambush was there. I think the Cassiopeia just stepped out the brush, and literally there was just a little turnaround from the Yone to avoid the stun on the ultimate, and that would have changed the fight there.
Yeah, and I can't even get a word in about anything. There's just non-stop action. But as we saw Demolish coming out from Aatrox, I think that was a really bad rune choice of rune. Maybe he thought he would win the Aatrox match or matchup a little bit harder, but without second wind, without those third tree runes, you're kind of more squishier than you would like to be. As we see the Tiamat coming out, I don't think he knows that Tiamat has been changed so that it applies lifesteal now, not Omnivamp.
Yeah, obviously those changes when back in the day, the Spellvamp, Omnivamp now, but Ornn has activated the Ornhorn as well. Did try and engage onto the Lux, he's flashed away there for now. Zac is in the middle, taking a lot of damage, but he is jumping in and jumping. The Lux is getting very low as well. She is eventually taken down, but we're going to turn back to the Varus, who's got the Wild Growth. He is trying to take on an Aatrox, but just not enough. And Cassiopeia now, she's activating the Twin Fangs. She is against two very damage-heavy members of LTI, and she is not going to be able to survive that at all. Zigor is going to try and run over the hills. As LTI are taking this fight. Even Thomas is very confident right now. One more slap in the face. Is anyone wanting the kill here? Just waiting to give it over. And the 10th kill for LTI means also the 3rd Drake for them. It is an Ocean Soul potential. After this one more to go. And unfortunately, Limelight just couldn't quite pull that team fight together.
I mean, they're called lethal target for a reason, right? They're just completely taking over the game. One thing I want to point out though, Cassiopeia is all in 5. Like,
yeah,
come on. And the Varus build, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe Lethality Varus would have been more. Maybe on-hit Varus suboptimal, Lethality Varus would have been way better, as he misses Smite. I think he missed Smite. Maybe the Q didn't hit, but
yeah, I just didn't quite get.
Varus would have been Lethality Varus would have been way more optimal.
Yeah.
Into such a squishier comp like this, you have at least young Caitlyn Lux. The only one that's going to be building HP is really just Aatrox.
Yeah, like you said, actually the Gore Drinker probably would have been a good first item, but he's gone for the Black Cleaver to begin with, just obviously being against a full tank Ornn probably does make some kind of sense, I suppose. But at the moment, LTI looking very strong here. No deaths yet for the mid laner or jungler. Whether I jinx that or not, who knows. But pings on the Baron, whether that's just maybe some vision control for now, but we're getting into 20 minutes. As you were saying before, we've got about 3 minutes left for that Cassiopeia to fully stack her Rod of Ages as well. So probably just got to really wait for that to really come online. If she can come online at this point, being 0 and 5. But like we saw last game, always time for a comeback. But I mean, can you see this Varus, you know, has got the 3 kills. Can you see the Varus kind of taking the game and carrying it for Limelight to come back? Or do you think it's just going to be a bit too tricky as an ADC at this point?
I mean, absolutely. As an ADC, there's always potential for a comeback, but it all depends on your teammates. Right? You have Ornn, Zac, Lulu to buff you, to peel for you, and you're going to be playing in the at an angle, probably on the opposite angle that Cassiopeia is playing at, ideally. But with things like Yonald, with things like Aatrox, and Luxalt, to just completely phase your front line, it'll all come down to his positioning and his movement.
Yeah, see, like we're talking about those dancing shoes at the start of the game. See if Lilison has still got them on in this game. But at the moment, 5k gold difference. And not too much action happening for now. Both teams just biding their time. And kind of, probably for different reasons. LTI very much in control, waiting for the next move, next killing blow maybe, but Broken Blade's going to pull the trigger here. He's going to try and engage, but he's getting rooted where he stands. The last spark, final spark I should say, comes on him. He will have the, no, he does not have the passive, sorry, not quite come through just yet, and it's just a very simple, easy pick for LTI, was presented to them on a plate, and that should spell Baron.
I mean, I don't really see how he saw there was an angle for an engage. Maybe he thought the Varus would ult, but seems like it didn't quite connect. They didn't even have vision on the Aatrox to sound them out. Yes, Cassiopeia did get her Ceras. Yes, she is about to hit that 10 stack. But she was on the side lane, and she didn't even have TP.
Yeah, there didn't seem to be the most logic to that engage. It just kind of was more of a an estimation, or, just fancied his chances, I suppose, really. As Lilith does get stunned this time by the petrifying gaze. Can Nigel TFT dance his way around? And he's gonna get popped by the last fate, but not just yet. He's popping those twin fangs, but in the end, it's the Yoni that comes out on top. That fight stretched along so far away, but is he going to be able to survive? He's got some good sustain, but he's against 3 members, gets knocked up by the Ornn, and the shutdown indeed does go over to Zegor. And fortunately, members of Limelight were able to back up their mid laner, and a 0-6 with an assist now at least on the Acacia player.
Yeah, so one for one trade, both flashes being used, both summoners being used. Dragon's coming up in around 20 seconds. It's full. It's probably more worth it for red side to have gone that pick, even if Cassiopeia did die. So that as we see Zac flashes being used, just not what you want to see as this dragon's coming up.
Yeah, very close, very important summon spell. Burned does just have the slingshot now, won't be able to avoid any CC. And he's just going to have to go for it at this point. A lot of wards though, so they have been spotted as they're just going to walk into this. Ornn is activating the teleport now. The Drake is getting to about 3k gold. Final Spark is going to take 3 members of Limelight for now, but the Ornn is in the mix. Caitlyn is at the back though. She is not being hit at the moment. She's been able to stay out of the way, but now she's actually too far to do any damage at all. And it is Limelight who suddenly come in and storm the Drake pit, and they are now the ones trying to take this Drake. As the top laner for LTI did go down there, but the Yoni is still there. Fate Sealed is still available. That is the crucial one. The Miasma is going to prevent any engage. I think LTI was going to try and flash, and Fate Seal is going to use to jump away now. LTI is caught in the mix. She is going to get taken down. Her Majesty, sorry. I thought it was the jungler, but in the end, the support, Zach, is just going in and in and in. More. What can he get? The melee to bring them together. Yes, he can. The passive is activated for now, but the turret is in range. Is he going to get taken down? I think he is for now. No, he's just going to be able to survive. Black Lilith is going to have to pop back very soon. The stun comes on. Are they going to get taken down before he jumps back? The Lulu takes the kill there. And all of a sudden, LTI have got their backs against the wall. And we are back to 12 kills to 10. And we might have another comeback here.
Just completely underestimating the Varus Lulu DPS on that dragon. I mean, you saw them walking up for it, but it was a little too late. And we did see Yon have to be used defensively. So, just really, once you have those tools and those that utility out of the way, there's no reason that Varus should have any problem.
Yeah, unfortunately, won't be able to see the damage from the fight, but yeah, I could definitely see that the Caitlyn, like I said, was just too far away. He was basically just trying to avoid the Zac at that point. It wasn't actually dishing out any damage, whereas the Varus was able to freely just fire his arrows, fire the Chain of Corruption as well, and dish out the damage. But yeah, Lulu really, really doing well here to keep her ADC alive. Not died herself this game as well, crucially, which, you know, notoriously supports can sometimes be caught out, and you can see Her Majesty has those 4 deaths, unfortunately, even though has been getting some good roots and ultimates popped out, but just not enough, as it did prevent the Ocean Soul going over to LTI for now. And Limelight can breathe and try and plan this comeback.
I mean, again, Aatrox being the one I'm looking out for because he's sort of the weak link in this on this team. Everyone else is just playing it really well. Maybe Her Majesty could have avoided those 4 deaths, but he's going for the Eclipse now.
Yeah,
you don't really need this much armor pen. You're not going to be hitting. You're not going to be the one hitting the Ornn. You're not going to be hitting the Zac. You want to get on Cassiopeia and Varus as soon as possible. So maybe an early Treads buy. You definitely want Treads at this point in the game, as we near the 30th minute.
Yeah, I mean, you have got the tankiness for the Ornn and the Zac, and then, you know, with the Lulu's Wild Growth potentially going on to Cassiopeia, who's going to have a lot of health. You know, it might work with that health percentage kind of damage as well, as Cassiopeia activates the Petrifying Gaze, does get the stun, but she's going to have to try and get out of here because it's 2 members of LGR, 3 members even. And the Zac is interrupted by the Aatrox there, so in the end, the Snake fights to live another day.
Again, Fate Sealed missed.
Yeah.
Red side should look for a fight here anyways, right before Baron comes up, because if they are able to get that pick, with Yon ult being down, such a crucial ability in teamfights, it should swing the fight in their favor.
Yeah, you can see the potential from the Aatrox there if he did actually choose to engage, but 2 very tanky members of Limelight at the moment, in that Zac, in that Ornn as well, are going to be very hard to take him down. Ooh. Just testing the water there. Able to walk away on the Yone, but you can see no Drake up just yet. Chain of Corruption is avoided with the flash for the Aatrox, and that is quite a big summoner spell, I think, in terms of LTI potentially engaging. He's going to try and catch out the Ornn though. The Cocoon doing a lot of damage though. That current health damage getting down, getting very low. He's going to be able to flash away for now, and he's going to be able to survive. The Ornn coming in, and it is the Elise that goes down first. He misses the Ornn as well. Not able to knock up all members of LTI. They were perfectly lined up there. And that was just the moment maybe that could have brought it back even further for Limelight. But in the end, they do get the 1 kill. Does go over to the Varus at least. And you can see the Ornn-empowered items are coming through now. And could really make the difference here.
I mean, this should be all Limelight's game now. There's no reason. They've hit the power spikes. We see the Rylai's coming out to stop the Yon movement speed from his EM Borg. I mean, there is room for misplay, obviously, but there's a lot less room now than there was in the beginning of the game.
Yeah. Definitely got to be hitting your abilities, hitting your own horns, as the Baron is going to be started here. It looks like that Limelight, they're going to settle for the Drake instead. I think they could have probably matched this, maybe. I mean, probably didn't have the players in the right place, but in the end, it's just a free Baron for LTI.
Yeah, so the idea here is that you know you have Soul Point, and you know the enemy team knows that as well. So you trade the possibility of Soul for a free Baron.
Yeah.
If you come to Drake, you flip the Soul fight, and it becomes even more of Limelight's advantage to take over the game. So in this way, they're guaranteeing the Baron. They don't really want to flip the game. They really want to push these waves out and maybe get some pressure going.
Yeah, it was the sensible option, possibly, wasn't it, from Limelight, instead of trying to risk it all on a Baron play. But you can see the damage there coming through on the Caitlyn now. She's got that Gale Force, she's got that Infinity Edge, and now also the Dominic's Regards to be taking down those big, old tanks. And was doing like a 1200 headshot on those minions. I mean, obviously not going to be doing that to an Ornn or a Zac here, but the Cassiopeia gets the Petrifying Gaze onto the Yone. He's got his fate sealed. He's jumped into the middle of the enemy team. He's going to pop back at least now for no. Aatrox is nowhere to be seen, though. It's a 5v4 here at the moment, though. Yone is getting very low. Ornn is being able to survive and just taking as much damage as he can for now. But Thomasy...
Aatrox still pushing. They need to stop these ports as fast as they can.
He's still pushing in, but the fight's going to continue. No kills taken down just yet. Broken Blade getting very, very low. Cassiopeia around the corner takes down the Elise. At least that's one kill, but they're going to lose an inhibitor for it. Can they capitalize? They will be able to get back now at least. And save their base.
Yeah, it doesn't quite look like it. So we see that, as much as we want to have it, we don't have Red Bull Baron power plays, so we're just going to have to make do.
Yep.
So we can see that Baron being utilized by Aatrox. He did have TP for that fight, decided not to use for it. The call was made to stop the ports, but they did end up losing Elise for it. I think that has to be worth it. You get an inhibitor now. It may not be on the side you want it to be, but it's still something.
Yeah, I mean, in that situation, obviously, if the Aatrox joins the fight, you probably still lose a team member, and then just don't get that inhibitor. So, yeah, I think in that situation, I think it was the right call. Just push that lane. No members were going to be able to face you because you could see them all right in front of you. So, and there was no Baron up, no Drake up at least, so they weren't going to lose any objectives from that. So, yeah, I think just about worth it in the end. But you can see now, I think at one point we did have, it must have been about 10 kills to 4 maybe, I think. So kills have certainly leveled out with this Varus taking some kills, but this is where it gets very, very interesting now. One wrong step, one member caught out in the wrong place.
I mean, there's still a 3,800 gold disparity between blue side and red side.
Yeah.
But that inhib was a big point in the game. There's around a 2.5 minute disparity between this dragon and inhibitor. If LTI does end up getting to the dragon first by pushing this mid wave and bot side out, Limelight has to funnel through the jungle, and you really don't want to funnel through the jungle as Yone to contest an objective.
Yeah, you got to be really clever now. LTI, you got to learn the tips from here, but you got a Zac jumping on you at the moment. He's going to be rooted in place as he has always been this game. He's going to get chunked down. He's going to have to walk away, but Elise herself is also getting very low. Is the Ornn going to pop? Elise just avoids it, and now the Lux is going to have to flash away as well. Does root the Zac where he stands. He's still going to survive though. No kills at the moment. The Cassiopeia is not in the fight. She is just defending the base for now, and was a bit of a nothing fight really in the end. Just a few flashes burned. There's Baron not up for another 2 minutes. Next Ocean Drake in about a minute. But just very careful. Just so close there. Just almost kills in a lot of places there for each team.
Yeah, as Aatrox does end up buying the shreds. I mean, look how close that fight was. If they can secure this next dragon, which is sold for them, and regen a lot of their missing HP in the fight, I think LTI just takes the game over from here. Yes, Varus is building towards the PD of Renans, but it won't matter.
Yeah, certainly a more impactful Drake than the Cloud Soul last time, so could really be pivotal here, especially with something like a Yoni, who's obviously designed to just get in and get out of fights, regen that health, and jump back in again. But Limelights are able to get to the Drake in time. Have they seen? Do they know? The ambush is there waiting, the Fnatic bush. But they're not going to entertain it this time. And they're just going to go straight for the Drake. The Elise is there, the Miasma coming down to try and prevent any engage. And they just take the Drake in front of the eyes of LTI. And now they're just going to turn their attention to the mid lane and the top lane, which probably they should have done instead of just hanging around while the Drake was taken. Aatrox, though, should be able to take down this turret at least. Not going to have any threat. Chaos, Chains of Corruption, sorry, going in. They're going to jump back in onto the Varus, though. Wild Growth is going to save him for now. The turret is gone down. He's getting very low, very, very low. The GA is here, though. He should be all right for now. Yoni is in there doing so much work. He is surviving. Cassiopeia trying to do what she can as well, but Lulu is the one to get the kill onto the Yoni now. And Limelight, they are pushing through. They are pushing back. They are standing strong. Their backs are against the wall. And they say, no, we are not losing this fight. And they ace LTI with no casualties.
I mean, just really well played on the side of Limelight. Cassiopeia did end up throwing her ult away. Didn't really find the Young. But we see the Varus just absolutely gliding into the next dimension in these fights. No one can really get onto him. Yonald had to be used as a necessity instead of just trying to find the angle. So I think that's what really turned the fight in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, it's all on that Varus, isn't it? 6-2. And I keep saying it, I know I've said it almost every other sentence, but I'm just harking back to that last game where LTI had their backs against the wall, and you know what? It just makes for great entertaining League of Legends from the neutral. I'd hate to be either team at the moment because LTI clearly think they are actually at a goal deficit now, where they did have the lead for so long. The Yoni was so strong. And all of a sudden now, Limelight are the ones in the driving seat. They need to be the ones to take this game. And it's just sometimes, I mean, you probably think it's just about the belief, isn't it, really? That the mentality that you can believe you can win this game. And when LTI clearly, they're probably going to those team fights just a bit kind of confused almost. Just didn't really know what the plan was and just kind of hit and hope maybe.
I mean, we saw that on the last Dragon. They were late to contest with Aatrox pushing topside. They knew they had the pressure. He ignored on and hit the tower with Demolish. But they tried to cheese them instead of just contesting the Dragon in their face. And as I pointed out, they did funnel through the jungle. Could have been a game-turning fight for them.
Yeah. Yeah, you saw the ambush waiting and then just watched the Dragon be taken right from under their nose. And all of a sudden the Baron's been taken too. And Limelight, they're the ones going down on the base. The Ornhorn has been popped. It's going to get the Lux for now. And the Caitlyn at the back, she is going to go down. The first one to go down. The Petrifying Gaze was popped as well, though. The Elise is so low. This is where she falls off. She is not the same strength as well. There is no Aatrox to defend the base. He needs to get back. Your base is being destroyed as you speak. The Fate Sealed gets 4 members of Limelight. Is it going to be enough, though? He is getting low. He's getting very low. Then Varus is just doing so much. He's full health still. He is going to be the winner. He is going to take it down. LTI, you have had a piece of your own medicine from the first game. And it is Limelight who take this best of 1 to make LTI's total games 1 win and 1 loss.
And the amount of movement speed this guy just had from the Lulu ult and everything, not the Lulu, but the Lulu abilities gen, everything else buffing him.
Yeah,
he just ran Lulu. Out of the. Yeah, he just ran out of the Fate Sealed.
Oof.
Members of LTI couldn't really get onto him after that Yon ult was used, as we could see the Aatrox just nowhere in the fight. The only meat shield or the only buffer for the team, nowhere to be seen. No idea what he was doing there, but you got to go back and review that and what could have been done better.
Yeah, again, just not the way probably the game should have gone in terms of how the game started. And we had a 0-6 Cassiopeia at one point, and she ends up with 4, 6, and 10. So from 0, 6, and 1, after that, she was basically 409 afterwards, which kind of tells the whole story, really. In terms of damage as well, obviously the Yoni was dishing out the damage, 38,000, the Caitlyn 30,000, which had a bit of a sniff at things, but you had 18,000 damage on an Aatrox. Maybe should have kind of ramped those stats up. But yeah, kudos to Limelight as well. That Varus was where your bread and butter was, and ultimately won you the game there. So yeah, really, I mean, interesting perspective as an LTI player from both a comeback win and then losing a lead to ultimately lose that game. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Joan again, Black Lilith Leo coming out with another game where he top damaged by around give or take 6K
Yep.
against the late game Varus. That's not an insignificant number. So makes you question if he was really if he was for sure landing his ults according to the damage charts.
Yeah, just whether he followed through or not, really, wasn't it? Uh,
Yeah.
because you kind of look at the scores, you've got the 3 and 5 on the Aatrox, the 3 and 4 on the Elise, who started so well. She was 0-0-4, I think, when Zac hadn't even had any kill participation. And I think, again, from the jungle perspective, being in such a pivotal role of you impact the lane, whether you give a kill or you take a kill, that when you're on a champion like Elise, 20 minutes or even 25 minutes is kind of your ceiling, really, and that's where you fall off, because the Elise, after the 25 minutes, I didn't really see much impact from that champion. And the Zac obviously builds in tankiness and builds in impact probably from that game. So do you think the compositions kind of helped that game fade out to a Limelight win as well?
I mean, kudos to the Elise player. Obviously, getting a lot of ganks out. I think it was she was up 5 KP over Zac at one point. With Zac having absolutely no stats at one point at 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Really well played. But you gotta look. I think this game you gotta look towards the top matchup. Burning an Aatrox flash. I mean, and then solo killing him into before the lane's even over. Really, like, I don't know. Something has to change. Maybe you just give him the Ornn for the rest of the season now. But
Yeah, it was an interesting one in that top. I mean, we had an Ornn both games, and one Ornn got flattened, and one managed to win an unfavorable matchup. So, does go to show kind of thing that how if you just know your champion well enough, that you can kind of win those lanes. And it was interesting, the mentality on the top laner on Thomas E. You know, obviously he had been absolutely stomped on that Ornn, and you could kind of see that with the Aatrox. He just wasn't too sure about those engages, and once he got that first kill, that he was suddenly the one leading the line. And I'm always interested in the player mentalities here of where those go. And when you've got that lead, you get a bit complacent, and both times the team in the lead were the ones to lose the game. So really, we're just calling this the comeback league, not the Valanth league. But there you go. That will do it for tonight. Hopefully, everyone can rest their heart rate for tonight after those two very exhilarating games. And apologies for any technical issues there, but that's part of league, part of life. League is love, league is life. So thank you to Rat. This has also been his first cast as a color caster, so well done to you, sir. That is you've broken the caster seal as it was, and hopefully you're ready to take some more games on, maybe.
yeah, I mean, definitely was a fun watch. Definitely was fun giving my thoughts on the game and giving saying what I think. But definitely looking forward to more casts.
Great. Yep. So thanks to everyone for tuning in. And of course, if you know Advanced League, we will be back next Monday night from 7 p.m. UK time from wherever you're watching. I've been Madwood. He's been Rat. We'll see you there.